Yeah, so Belvin breaks the teams down into different things. So it's looking at how those teams will manage the behaviours, managing motivation. Maslow again comes up again, and Hertzberg's motivational theory. Those are ones you can just look up, make some notes, and then put your piece off that. And what it's asking you to do is, again, whoops, where's it gone? 3.1, devise a scheme of work. Is that first one? Yeah. Wait a minute, I've got the wrong one here, I'm sure. Have I made a mistake here? Because this old one doesn't match on some of them. I'm just
yeah, because I looked at that and I got a bit confused, so I stopped looking at it after a while.
No, it's definitely Unit 1, develop. Ah, no, it isn't. I know what the problem is. I've named it wrong, this one. I've probably put the other one the other way around. This is Unit 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so what I'll do is...
But then L01 match...
Similar. There's quite a lot of overlap in the first two units, yeah? So let's just put that back a minute.
I've just sent an email off to your email account. Just, hi, this is my new email address.
Okay, yeah. Right, so let's have a quick look at Unit 2. What I've got there is, I might have put them back in the wrong place when I've been editing. Second. Oops, yes. I have lost that. It should be in here and it's not.
Okay.
I'll replace that afterwards and straighten that out. The suggested evidence is there, but the other one isn't. The one that I've got there isn't.
Okay.
Right, okay. I'll correct that afterwards. In the meantime, I've closed that one down, so we've got rid of that. We'll work on this one only. Yeah. Right, so 3.2. Again, it's looking at your teaching and learning plans from your scheme of work, yeah?
Yes.
To show that they are respond to the individual goals and needs of your learners and curriculum requirements. So, again, copies of your lesson plan and describe how and where you use these plans. And again, 3.3 moves on from that and then says, so you've got your scheme of work, then you've got your lesson plan, and then it's asking, explain how own planning meets the needs of individual learners. So that is when I said, if you are going to use lesson plans and here, initial assessment, your diagnostics and your ILP, for two learners, one having an issue, ostensibly, this is where it comes in, because you can explain at 3.3, and how you've got that learner, and then 3.4, you can explain how you've adapted that plan to meet those individual needs, Now, with the age group you've got, the next one, 3.5, is somewhat difficult, but what I would suggest to you is that show if you've got, how do you get feedback from your learners?
Well, we normally do and what I know, what I would like to know, and what I have learned sheet.
Good, that's excellent.
Yeah, and then otherwise we have feedback via the traffic light paper cups that they have.
Yeah, ideal. If you can put a copy of those in, or to show how that works, and then explain how it works, and then it shows where you've identified opportunities for learners to give format to inform inclusive practice.
Yeah. So would I get them to fill in one of those sheets and attach it as an appendix?
All the documentation that you put in as evidence has got to be actual documentation, not just a copy of a blank. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it needs to be, and that's why I've said, where possible, just put learner A and B in.
Yes.
Yeah, and then it shows the difference between the two, one having an issue that you've dealt with, and that's how you've dealt with it. Yeah. So from 3 onwards, it follows on. You've got a scheme of work. You've got a lesson plan.
Yes.
You design the lesson plans to meet these needs. You explain how your own planning to meet these needs is there. So, yeah. And then 3.4, you've shown where you've adapted it to meet the needs of this particular learner. Yeah.
Yes. So
and then,
in 3.3, would I just say things like if I have a learner that has dyslexia, I would use different coloured sheets, or if I have someone who has low sight, poor sight.
Yeah, exactly. Just give a couple of examples, because it's asking for an explanation, not an analysis. It's just an explanation of how your own planning would meet the needs of learners, yeah? Or use the learners you've got as an example, yeah?
Yeah.
So that finishes 3 L03 off. And we move on to 4, which only has 3 ACs on 4.
That's good. I like it when they're small.
This is where it's matching over to 2. You've got to explain why it is important to promote appropriate learned behaviour and respect for others.
Yes.
Yeah? Explain ways to promote equality and value diversity. And establish and sustain a safe, inclusive learning environment. Yeah. An explanation here, because they're all 3 explanations. Yeah. Well, that's an establish actually, but I'll come back to that in a minute.
Okay.
So your explanations of why it's important to promote behaviour, role models, etc., things like that. Again, there's some read and respond to the some of the work on the VLE.
Yeah.
I think I've got a couple of handouts in there as well.
Okay.
In fact, I'll just have a quick look if I'll move that out of the way. Oops. Well, that's Unit 1. No, I had. Well, it may be on Unit 2 that I've got that, because that's all about record view. That's better. Let go to the way a minute. Ah, there we are. Just have a check through Unit 1, cover sheet observation report. Preparing and enabling education styles. Underpin teaching and learning, legislation, codes of practice, principles and practical. Teaching, suggested evidence, initial assessment. Teaching, amplification, creation templates. 103, 104. Right, there are some PowerPoints on here to look at as well. I was going to look at L045, this one, yeah? Save. Yeah, it's quite a long one, this one, because it covers, more than one learning objective. Well, I can whiz through the first one, which are basically looking at initial assessment, aims and objectives. Initial assessment activities. How to close the gap, students given learning support. Courses do and should evolve all the time. Individual learning plans. Yeah. Moving through. We don't need an activity. Come back. most of this you can have a look at anyway. It'll just
Yeah.
reinforce what you've done. Yeah.
Mhm.
Again, that's something that is interesting. Actually, I've looked at this a number of times. It always seems to reflect on what I've found as well. So, on average, over a period of 3 days, the percentage of what we remember, right, what we read, about 10%, of what we hear, about 20%, about what we see, 30%, yeah? What we see and hear, 50%, what we actually say ourselves, 70%, and the things we do, we remember everything, basically, yeah? If you were to say, 3 days ago in the afternoon at 3 o'clock, what were you doing? After a minute or two, you probably say, oh yeah, I was doing this, and this.
Yeah.
But if you were to say, you read something in the morning in the paper, what was it? And you'd be going, 3 days ago, what did I read in the paper? I've slept since. Yeah. So we move on to learning styles.
So should I talk about the different learning styles in this as well?
You will have, you'll be able to mention that because it asks certain questions on how you're actually meeting the needs of all your learners. Yeah.
Yeah.
All your learners will have different learning styles. Hopefully, within this part of the PowerPoint, it's looking at the way it looks at how you formulate the individual learning plan.
Yeah.
Because the individual learning plan will fire up the issues that any of the students will have. And automatically it will show up your kinesthetic learners, your audio learners, your visual learners, etc. will come into that ILP, what they're interested in, what they do, and things like that. Oops. Yeah. Multiple intelligences. Yeah. And these are the skills, a lot of things that you put together and build from childhood onwards. Yeah. Logical, naturalist, intrapersonal, existential, visual, kinesthetic, interpersonal, and linguistic. Those are the sort of skills that multiple intelligence or multiple pieces of your intelligence build up over the years of learning. I think that doesn't cover L04 completely, actually, which is what I wanted. Yeah, so I'll shut that one down. Go back to my little sheet, which I can now open up fully. So looking at 4, the 3 remain, looking at behaviours, explain ways to promote equality and value diversity, and establishing a safe and inclusive learning environment. Yeah. Some hints on here on what to pick up on there. Yeah. 5 is analyse the effectiveness of teaching and learning approaches and the way you actually deliver, which is best, which doesn't work as well, which works best with your learners, some of the different teaching approaches that you use.
Okay.
Oh dear.
We're having a meltdown outside. So what happened? You banged your leg? It's okay. It's okay. Open eye. Don't be naughty to him, okay? It's okay. If you be naughty to him, okay. I'm gonna smack his bum bum in a bit, okay? Good boy. It's okay. Sorry, he just banged his leg on something.
Oh dear. It's a major catastrophe.
Yes. Probably not getting his own way with the TV either.
Yeah. That's right. I had 2 girls close together. I think there were only 22 months between them, and I ban sentences starting with she.
Yeah. She did it.
She. Don't want to know.
That's why I say if you've not got something nice to say, go away.
Yep.
Oh.
So it's like an analysis of your teaching and the practices that you use and how effective they are.
Okay.
Analyse the benefits and limitations of the communication methods and media used in your own area of specialism. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's looking at how you communicate with other people in the school, how you communicate with your learners. Yeah. It's and the communication methods that are used in there as well. Yeah.
Do you know when they say your own area of specialism, what does it mean by that? So would I talk about that? I normally do phonics on things, lessons. Would I talk about phonics at that time, or would I
you could do.
in general?
Everybody, the reason that I've spread these units out as they are is because everybody is working in a specific area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even if it's only differentiated between age groups.
Oh, okay. So it can be age groups.
Somebody's working with special needs, somebody's working with 4 to 6 year olds, some are working with 6 to 10 year olds, 10 to 13, older children, 6th form, and then into further and higher education. Some people taking this course are actually working for training providers and go out doing tutoring and assessment out in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
So a whole range of things, but they're all specialist areas. Yeah.
Yes. Because I always thought it meant a particular subject on that. That confused me a bit. That's
Yeah, but that's why it says, always comes back and says, your learners, your area. It's all about what you do, yeah, as I was saying this morning. So it's actually the benefit and limitations of communication in your own area of specialism. 5.3 is analyse the effectiveness of the resources used, yeah, and in relation to meeting the individual needs of learners. If you have got plenty of resources and they're well supplied, explain how that happens. If there's a dearth of resources and you think you could do it a lot more, talk about it, yeah? So I said, use inclusive teaching and learning approaches and resources, including technologies, to meet the needs of learners. So that's anything where you use any form of technology in terms of how you deliver the programs that you deliver.
I could talk about things like the use of the interactive whiteboards and the power display. I would forget what they're called, projectors.
Yeah, you've got it. It's a long one, 5. Excuse me.
4 was short, just to ease us into comfort and then hit us with the 5.
Now, 5.5 is demonstrate ways to promote equality and diversity and value diversity in your own teaching. How can you demonstrate that on paper? You can't. Really, you can explain how you actually use inclusive techniques, yeah? But you'll have some teaching observations at some point, yeah? Yeah. And there'll be a question on that observation about inclusive teaching and learning, yeah? So you've demonstrated ways to promote equality and diversity in that lesson. So you can refer back to, your observations will be appendices, just to say, yeah? So basically, they can you can use that as evidence to show them. Now also about that, if you can be observed in your establishment, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. If nobody's got time to do it, or it's awkward, because you're local, I can come and do it. Yeah. Okay. So it's either way. Just mention that you will need some observations, and if anybody volunteers and says, "Oh yeah, okay, we'll sort that out," I can give you the sheet, because it's a simplistic sheet for the observer. Yeah. Right. Okay. And then you'll need about half a dozen, no more. Okay. Because I've got, you were mentioning something about if I had previous observations, that you might want those as well. If you've got copies of those, that's fine, yeah. Yes, I've got 2 observations from 2013, I think. Then you'll only need about another 3 or 4. Okay. Yeah. So demonstrate ways to promote equality and value diversity in your own teaching. 6 takes a jump, and it's adapt teaching and learning approaches and resources, including technologies, to meet the individual needs of learners. But if you go back to planning, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Explaining ways in which teaching and learning plans can be adapted to meet individual needs of learners. It's an extension of 3.4, yeah?
Okay.
So where you've adapted learning approaches, not just the plan, where that's the early one showing an amendment in the plan, yeah? This one is how you've actually adapted those approaches, the way you've actually had to, what you've actually had to do with that particular learner, yeah? So I'll just talk about that on 5.6.
Okay.
Now, communicating with learners and learning professionals to meet the individual needs of learners. This is where copies of feedback you've given to learners, copies of any assessments that you've done with them, any work that you've done with the quality assurance person in your establishment, yeah?
Okay.
Or you've had to pass records on to them or show them work that you've done, yeah? So all of those clues in the box on this side are relevant to this particular learning objective, but not all of them you will be able to provide, yeah?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Just have a cough. So
with 5.7, because I'm still waiting to start work.
Yeah.
And can I make these things myself in the meanwhile? Because I don't want to fall back. Because I know that when I start working, it's going to be quite full time, and I've got time to do this at the moment.
Well,
So,
yeah, by all means, yeah. I mean, you understand what you've got to do, and you've got the information to the side here pointing you in the right direction, yeah? Put some stuff together on that. Now, because 5 is a very big one, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go on to the rest, so I can do the others quickly, because 6 is a big one as well, as you can see.
Yes.
Yeah, that's got 6 assessment criteria, and 7 is only got 2, and 8's only got 2. So what we can do is, if you'll get me up to the end of 5, yeah, and then we'll do 6 next week, because it is a big one. 6. There's a lot of work in 6, yeah.
Do you know for 5.7, I've got some maths assessments for the children, which I've not included as appendices yet.
Yeah.
I've got quite a few pages. So if I could scan the front page and write feedback on top of that front page of how I think they've done, would that be sufficient for that?
All you need to do is explain what you've done and why.
Okay. Okay. Why?
We've got a skills test there. That's the English teacher coming out in me. Yeah, so I'll correct that other piece that's missing and change that round there. Sometimes I'm editing on that page and I've put it back in the wrong place.
Right. Will I be okay to go on it tomorrow then?
Sorry?
Or should I wait? Will I be okay to go on it tomorrow to have a look at it, or should I wait a day or so to go on it?
No, I'll put it right tomorrow. I'm at home tomorrow. I don't work Fridays, so I'll be doing. I don't work. I'll be doing some work on here. So I'll put that right in the morning. So by tomorrow evening, it should have sorted itself out.
Okay. But a teacher never has time off. They're either working from home or in school.
Well, I mean, one of the things that you do, it's part of the job, and you get into it. Yeah. It's like somebody asked a question last week actually about why are you still teaching at your age. I said, because I enjoy doing it.
Exactly. When you enjoy something, you want to keep on doing it.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. Where I look at it from probably a bit of a more altruistic level now, where if I can help, yeah, then I will do. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's my excuse. But yeah, 5 is a big one. 4,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
you've 3 to finish off.
Uh-huh.
4 is a short one, and then 5 is a big one.
Right.
But most of that, yeah, I think you've got your understanding of what's needed there.
Yeah, as we're going on, I'm sort of understanding it a lot better now
Yeah.
compared to...
What I've written down the side here is pretty easy to follow, and it does give you a clear picture of what's needed really. The suggestions, there may be other areas like you've suggested now that may be easier for you to use. By all means, do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've actually put on the bottom of here somewhere. Yeah. All these are suggestions. Yeah. Help you use the natural occurring elements in producing your day-to-day work as a teacher. Some of you might not cover all the practices. Some of you may not do initial assessment, but somebody will have done it, and you'll be able to show me copies and explain how they work. And that's the bulk of the understanding. Same applies to any other processes that you might not have done personally, but you deal with and use as part of your teaching process. Yeah. Okay.
Fantastic.
Have you got any further questions for me tonight?
No, I think I should be okay with this now. Yeah. I'll make a start on it, and if I get stuck...
Yeah, well, I'll give you... You've got my other mail now, and I'll
Thank you.
You can text me anytime, yeah? And I'll pick a text up quicker, and I can point you in the right direction. If it's something you're not sure of or a bit stuck with what to do, just give us a text and I'll follow it up.
Okay.
I'll follow it up. Voice is going again.
This is damn cold.
Yeah, it's nearly gone now, but it's still lurking at the background there.
Yeah, it caught me yesterday because I normally, touch wood, I never get ill. It's been last time I was ill was about 4 or 5 years ago. So yeah.